wanted to do a video kind of talking about my diagnosis with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, B-cell mediastinal. I see a lot of people put stuff on YouTube, and I've been watching videos, and it's kind of helped me. So I thought maybe I'll do one and try to help somebody as well. A lot of people don't have the same symptoms that I had. I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 3 years. I'm a blue belt under Rafael Formiga Barbosa, Randy Clayton, and Chris Arledge for Soul Fighters here in Texas, Midlothian. It's Dallas-Fort Worth suburb. So I was training New Year's Day and with my professor Chris, and we were rolling. We call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We call it rolling. It's sparring, but we call it rolling. Sounds cooler. And it wasn't really a hard roll. I was exhausted. I was so tired, which was not normal. I'm a small guy. I'm a 165-pound guy, and I train with 225-pound guys, and I'm used to it, so I can go quite a while. But I was exhausted, and we got rolling. I was breathing so hard and just tired. Just tired. Like I said, we really didn't roll that hard. I shouldn't have been that tired. So I roll with another black belt at the gym. It's a really good black belt, and I couldn't even go maybe 10 seconds, and I cardio tapped. I was so done. I was just exhausted. So I took my gi top off, and I noticed my left arm, the veins in my left arm were protruding, and my neck a little bit was protruding, and my tricep actually had kind of turned a purplish color. So I really didn't think anything of it. I injured myself. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you injure yourself. It's just the way it is. So I was always injured, I'm always broken, something's torn. It's just part of the art. So I really didn't think anything of it. I went home, took a shower, and I got out of the shower, and I noticed my jugular veins were protruding a lot. Very, very predominant. They were sticking way out there, and I thought that was odd. Because, how do you get tired in the shower? You just... But I thought maybe the warm water had made my muscles swell or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I have a friend of mine he's an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Todd Moore, fantastic surgeon here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I called him, he's a good buddy of mine, so he's like, yeah, come on in. This is on New Year's Day, so I think that was on I don't know what day it was on. A couple days went by. I let it sit a couple days. And so I go in and see him. He says, hey, man, we kind of thought it was a TOS. That's like an outlet syndrome where your blood flow is not good. Usually because you've crushed, like your top rib is crushed into your clavicle, or your, clavicle's broken and into your top rib, and it's smashing your main arteries going to your heart. Kind of thought that's what it was. So he sent me for a Doppler test. That's where they do an ultrasound to check for your blood flow. Well, about 15 minutes after I get the Doppler test done, he says, dude, you got like several blood clots, like multiple blood clots. You need to go down to the pharmacy. I'm putting you on high dose of blood thinner. So get down to the pharmacy, and he puts me on Xarelto, it's a blood thinner. You see it on TV. I start taking a heavy dose of it, like a loading dose, because you have to load it for like 2 weeks. So I start loading it, and about a week goes by. I'm feeling kind of, you take medicine and it makes you feel worse. Everybody says it. So about a week goes by, and I'm working, and I feel horrible again. I'm exhausted, just like not walk 10 feet exhausted, you know. And my neck is I feel like somebody's grabbing my neck. You know, my jugglers were just protruding again. It's really strange. So I go in the ER. I work at a hospital. I work on elevators actually, and I was working on elevators in the hospital and decided, you know what, I'm just going to go down here to the ER, you know, and let them look at me. So called my wife, said, hey, I'm going to go to the ER, get them to check me out. So go to the ER. They do another Doppler test to see how my blood clots were doing, because I told them I had blood clots. So they did another Doppler test. Actually, I'd almost cleared up already. I had one hanging in my jugular still, but he said it's small. So they wanted to do a CT, make sure I didn't have a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in your lungs. So they did a CT scan, and he came back and said, well, good news, you don't have a pulmonary embolism, but you have a very, very enlarged mediastinal lymph node. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. He says, I want you to go see an oncologist. I know what that means. So I make an appointment with an oncologist, Dr. Digikar with Texas Oncology, great doctor, been taking care of me. Make an appointment with him. I go down and see him. We do a PET scan and get the results, and he says, yeah, you get cancer. You got lymphoma. It's crazy to hear those words. So I said, okay, well, I mean, I kind of heard about it before, you know, but lymphoma is really one of those that doesn't really get talked about a whole lot, because there's, you know, I mean, cancer is cancer, but, you know, you normally hear about pancreatic, liver, lungs, you know, really scary cancers. So he said, you know, you're young. I'm 40 years old. He said, you're young. It's probably Hodgkin's, but you can't really make a diagnosis without a biopsy. So, schedule a biopsy to do. They did a subclavicle. Tried to do a subclavical biopsy. In the meantime, whenever you are on blood thinners, you have to wean off of one blood thinner to a different type, which in my case was Lovenox. So you have to give yourself a shot 2 times a day in the stomach. Kind of gets old. Anyway, side note. So they do I go in for a biopsy, subclavical, and felt like they had gotten enough. Said, we'll just get the pathology back and see. So they get the pathology back, didn't get enough. So Nurse Amy with Texas Oncology, another awesome person. She's taken so much good care of me. She calls me, says, hey, we got a problem. They couldn't get enough on the pathology report. We need to go in and do a mediastinal biopsy. Well, what a mediastinal biopsy is they make an incision right here in your throat. It's pretty swollen still, pretty fresh. And they go behind your sternum to take a biopsy of the lymph node that's actually, they call it a tumor, but I mean, it's a really enlarged lymph node. So they biopsied it, and that was last Wednesday. And Friday we got the results, and it's actually non-Hodgkin's B-cell lymphoma. So we had set up to do chemo starting today. I was going to do R-CHOP, and It's pretty standard chemo for non-Hodgkin's. So that regimen is like you go in a day, you do chemo, and then you're 3 weeks to recover, and then you do your next cycle, and typically it's 6 cycles. So we kind of had a plan together. Yesterday, Dr. Digicar calls me and says, "I want you to come see me." It's a little nerve-wracking when your oncologist calls you and says, "Hey, I want you to come in the office," and it's kind of nerve-wracking. So knew something was up. So my wife and I, we go to see Dr. D. I call him Dr. D. He says, "Hey, listen, we got an issue." He says, "Your blood cells are mutating at a very, very rapid pace." So I don't know what the standard is, but I know mine are mutating at like 90%. I think most people, maybe 50, 60%. So mine is really going, moving, spreading quickly. It's moving quickly. So he said, "We're going to change plans. I'm going to admit you in the hospital today. You are going to start a regimen called RECHOP, which is a little bit more tougher, I guess, maybe. I don't know the word to use. There's an extra chemo in there. So I got admitted to the hospital last night, and they started my chemo today. Not so bad, I guess, for the first round. The rheumatoxin's makes you tired. That's really a pretty tough one. Makes you tired and kind of made I started itching. I itched, and then they gave me some Benadryl, and then I slept. So, the itching went away. So did my consciousness. So you have to be on this treatment. You're on for 5 days, 24 hours a day. And then you take your 3-week break to try to get your white bloods up, heal your body up, because chemo knocks you down, So I'm on now, right now, it's 10:45 in Texas, and I am on my bag, what they call the Red Devil. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but that's what everybody calls it, the Red Devil, because it's the one that makes you lose your hair, makes you sick, makes you pee red, all kind of crazy stuff that it does to your body that nobody really talks about. Nobody really says much about it, about the chemo part, at least what I've seen. And everybody's had a different diagnosis than me. Most of the time with lymphoma, you get sick, you stay sick, you have a cough. I did have a cough. I did have a cough. That's one symptom that kind of started coming together. But I didn't have a lot of night sweats. It was the fatigue that started. But anyway, so I'd watched a lot of YouTube videos where people had been talking about being very fatigued, being not having an appetite. I have an appetite. I eat because I train so much. I train so hard in jiu-jitsu that I'm always eating. And so, yeah, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, B-cell mediastinal, and doing the thing, man. I see a lot of people that get really, really stressed about this, and it is super stressful. This is 90% mental and 10% physical. I'm in very good shape because I train. I eat very good because I want to keep my body fit. I'm a 165-pound guy, not real heavy, 5'7", not a big guy. I'm a small guy. So I really have to watch what I eat, and especially when you're training, because you got to eat different. When you put your body through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is tough, and you have to take care of your body. You have to maintain your body to be able to train. So I'm very physically ready and mentally ready through training Jiu-Jitsu. It's 90%. It's 90% mental, 10% physical. I mean, the 10%, the physical part of it, you just know it's going to come. You know you're going to lose weight. You know you're going to throw up. You know you're going to lose your hair. You know all these things that you hear about cancer and you hear about chemotherapy, and it's part of it. It's just the way it is, What most people don't talk about is the 90%, the mental part, which I feel like in the last 3 years I've been a lot more prepared mentally than maybe a lot of people. It is very stressful. For those that train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I explain it to my friends at the gym like this. It's like you being a small guy like me and having a 250 guy like Joao Rocha. He's not that heavy yet. He cut some weight. He's a good friend of mine. He's an awesome guy. Having Neon Belly on you and not ever letting up 24 hours a day, not ever stopping. Like, it's tremendous pressure on you. It's tremendous pressure on you. And so for those that don't train jiu-jitsu, it's like being punched in the face for 24 hours a day and the guy never stopping. So it's a lot. It's a lot that weighs on your mind. But you have to stay positive. You have to keep yourself not only physically fit, but you have to keep yourself mentally fit. And you have to know how to deal with the stressful situation. You have to know how to deal with the stressful part. And you have to stay positive. You have to stay positive. You can't allow the what ifs or what is going to happen or what should I do. You can't allow that to infiltrate your mind because it just wears you down. It just wears you down. You have to take it one step at a time. We train in jiu-jitsu. We say, hey, it takes years to get a black belt. 10 years, usually minimum, but a lot of guys get it. It takes longer than that. So you have to be patient with the process. You have to be patient with the process. You can't allow all the other things to clog in your mind. You have to keep yourself positive. Hey, I'm a fighter. I'm going to get through this one day at a time. And that's how I've been doing it. Just one day at a time. I mean, not only I train jiu-jitsu, but I'm a Christian. I believe that God has allowed me to be on this journey. I know it sounds crazy. I don't believe God gives you cancer. I think it's just because we live in a fallen world, so it's just going to happen. But I believe he utilizes your situation to make you stronger. And he's prepared me through jiu-jitsu and a few other things in my life to make me mentally fit and physically fit. And so you have to stay on your train. Stay on your train. I have a friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, tell me, he just told me this last night, matter of fact, we were talking on the phone. He said, Chris, stay on your train, man. When you find yourself on another train, and it doesn't feel right, get off. Get back on your train. And it's great advice. It's great advice. Don't let other people. People are going to change towards you when they find out you have cancer. They don't talk to you the same. They don't treat you the same. So you have to kind of ignore that. That people don't know how to react. They're scared to talk to you. They don't know what to say, and you just have to understand that it's okay. They don't. What do you say when you find out someone has cancer? Oh, I hope you feel better. I'm praying for you. That's the common response. So everybody does it. So it's just they don't know what to say. But stay on your train. Like stay on your train. Don't go to somewhere you shouldn't go. Don't let your mind wander to somewhere it shouldn't be. Stay focused. Stay positive. Be a fighter. Be a fighter. Know that you can fight, and you can fight one day at a time. I mean, it's like climbing a mountain. You got this. You want to see the end result, but if you took a helicopter to the top of the mountain, it wouldn't mean near as much to you. You got to climb it. You got to go through it. You gotta slip and fall and scratch your knees and bust your elbows up, and you gotta. It's like getting a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You start out as a white belt and you get crushed, and then you work your way through, and before you know it, you're a blue belt, and then you get crushed, and then you work your way through it, and you're a purple belt, and you get crushed, and you just keep going. You don't stop. You don't let obstacles stand in your way. You don't let other people's negativity stand in your way. You only focus on yourself and your mind, and you stay focused on the goal of what you want to do. And you don't quit. You don't quit. You keep going. Yeah, I wear my Tap Cancer Out t-shirt. It's a non-profit jiu-jitsu non-profit organization, great organization. They donate money to leukemia and lymphoma, and I know they've donated to, I think, pancreatic cancer, and they raise money through jiu-jitsu tournaments and t-shirt sales and stuff like that. But really cool. They've reached out on Instagram to me, and I thought that was pretty cool. I just made a post. I just started Instagram today. I'm tired of Facebook, so I just kind of put it out there, and so just know you got support. I want to share my story because I know how hard it is. I know the difficulties. I mean, like I said, I'm 40 years old. I'm a father of 3. My wife stays home from work to help raise our family. Hardest job in the world, by the way. I wish stay-at-home moms got paid $1 million a year, because it's still not enough. Single income, so I'm not gonna be able to work, and but we're not concerned about it. We got, again, I have faith that I'll be taken care of, and I know I will. So if I could give any advice, the things that you can't stress out about, the things you can't control. You just cannot. If you have no control over a situation, then don't worry about it, because it's going to turn out the way it's going to turn out. Only worry about the things that you can't control. That's everything in life. No matter what, if you're sick or something happened at work or something, only focus on the things you can control. So I hope I can encourage somebody. I mean, You know, if I'm gonna put this on YouTube and on my channel. I really don't even know what a channel is because I'm not really a tech guy. Um, you know, if you want to message me. I'll try to help you or talk to you or, you know, whatever, to try to keep you positive, and keep fighting the fight. Keep going down the road. Don't stop. Don't stop. So, hope you guys have a good evening. Talk to you later.